Imagine this: the most captivating people you've ever met are rarely the ones who hand you everything about themselves in the first 5 minutes. They don't give you their whole story, their whole soul, or their whole world right away. Instead, they allow you to discover them piece by piece. That discovery is where the magic lies. When it comes to driving him wild, the power of mystery is everything. It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not, but about understanding the difference between being open and being an open book. When you keep just enough back, you spark curiosity. And curiosity is the fuel that keeps someone chasing, keeps someone leaning in closer, keeps someone invested in learning more. Think about how we get hooked on a great TV series. If the show told us the ending in the very first episode, we'd lose interest immediately. What keeps us coming back is that every episode reveals just enough to satisfy us, while still leaving unanswered questions that pull us forward. Attraction works the same way. If you hand over every detail, every thought, and every piece of intimacy too quickly, you remove the thrill of discovery. But if you let things unfold naturally, giving him small glimpses of who you are while keeping the deeper layers for later, you create a sense of anticipation that's impossible to resist. Mystery doesn't mean silence or coldness. It's not about withholding affection to punish or control. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing that not every text has to be answered instantly. Not every personal story needs to be shared on the first date. Not every part of yourself has to be revealed before someone has earned it. That little bit of restraint communicates value. It says, I know who I am. I'm not rushing to give everything away. You get to earn me. And that's wildly attractive because it flips the script. Suddenly, he's the one investing energy to uncover you, to peel back those layers, to get closer to the version of you that feels just out of reach. The truth is, men love pursuit. When everything is available without effort, the pursuit dies. But when you hold a little mystery, when you let him wonder what's going on in your mind, when you make him curious about how you spend your time, you awaken his natural instinct to chase. It's not manipulation, it's magnetism. Because you're not pretending, you're simply not putting your entire self on the table too soon. That's what makes him lean forward and want more. There's also something incredibly powerful about the way mystery amplifies imagination. When you don't reveal everything, he begins to fill in the blanks with his own thoughts and fantasies. That's where desire grows strongest, because what we imagine is often even more intoxicating than what's already known. By keeping certain details tucked away, you give him the space to dream, to wonder, to keep picturing you in his mind long after the date ends. That's how you stay unforgettable. And here's the key: you can still be authentic while being mysterious. You can still laugh, share, and connect, but you do it with a sense of timing. You don't rush to show every side of yourself at once. You allow him to experience you layer by layer, just as you wouldn't read the last page of a book before the story begins. Don't give him the ending before the adventure has even started. Mystery creates the adventure. It makes every new moment feel like a revelation. And that revelation is what drives him wild, because he never knows what's coming next. Confidence is the quality that changes the entire dynamic between you and a man. When you carry yourself with a sense of inner value, everything about the interaction shifts. Most people think attraction is about saying the right thing, doing the right thing, or fitting into what someone else wants. But in reality, nothing is more magnetic than someone who already knows their worth. A woman who is confident doesn't need to chase approval. And because of that, she naturally becomes the one who gets pursued. That contrast is everything's. Instead of trying to be liked, she allows herself to be chosen. Too often, people slip into the trap of compliance. They think the fastest way to win someone over is to agree with everything he says, go along with every plan he suggests, and never push back. At first, it might seem like this keeps the peace, but what it really does is flatten the attraction. If you're always accommodating, you stop being a challenge and desire fades. Think about it. If you walk into a store and everything is free, how much value do those items hold? The things we treasure most are the things we had to earn, and confidence is what signals that your love, your time, and your energy are worth earning. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It's not about proving you're better than him or constantly reminding him that you don't need him. It's more subtle and more powerful than that. It's the quiet assurance that you're already enough as you are, so you don't have to bend over backwards to be seen. You can listen without losing yourself. You can be kind without being a doormat. And you can compromise without erasing your own needs. That balance is what makes a man sit up and pay attention, because he knows you're not just with him to fill a void. You're with him because you choose to be. One of the most attractive things you can do is set standards. When you're clear about what you will and won't accept, it creates a natural boundary that commands respect. Men don't fall for women who say yes to everything. They fall for women who say yes when it matters and no when it doesn't align with their values. That selective yes is what makes the yes so powerful. If everything is easy to get, nothing feels special. But when you're confident enough to protect your energy, to decline when something doesn't serve you, and to walk away when someone isn't meeting your standards, you communicate something irresistible, that being with you is a privilege, not a guarantee. Confidence also changes the way you carry yourself in small moments. It shows up in your body language, the way you hold eye contact, the way you smile without needing validation, the way you enter a room like you belong there. It shows up in your conversations, when you share your opinions honestly instead of mirroring his, when you ask thoughtful questions without fear of sounding silly, when you express your desires instead of hiding them. These tiny signals build up into an overall energy that says, I'm not trying to prove myself. I'm already enough. And that is magnetic beyond words. The truth is, attraction isn't about perfection. It's about presence. When you're confident, you're fully present with him instead of anxiously worrying about whether he likes you or not. That presence allows you to connect more deeply because you're not distracted by insecurity. You're free to play, to tease, to laugh, and to show your personality without second guessing. And ironically, that's the very thing that drives him wild. Not the person who's trying the hardest to impress him, but the one who doesn't need to. Flirtation isn't about giving everything away. It's about creating a dance of energy that leaves him craving the next move. Too many people confuse attraction with overexposure, thinking the more you reveal, the faster he'll become invested. But the truth is, what drives someone wild isn't the end result. It's the playful anticipation that builds along the way. Teasing without telling is one of the most powerful skills you can develop because it creates tension, and tension is what makes chemistry unforgettable. Think about the moments you felt most captivated by someone. It probably wasn't when they laid out every detail about how they felt. It was when they dropped hints, when they gave you just enough to make you wonder, when their smile carried a secret you couldn't quite figure out. That sense of what does this mean is what keeps people hooked. Teasing is about building that curiosity, that delicious uncertainty, and making him lean forward instead of sitting back. Playfulness is your ally here. When you tease him, you're not being mean or dismissive. You're letting him feel your confidence in a fun, light-hearted way. Maybe he brags about something, and instead of showering him with compliments, you laugh and say, "Oh really? Prove it." Maybe he's trying to be smooth, and you respond with a cheeky grin that suggests you're not fully buying it, but you're enjoying the effort. Those little moments create sparks because they keep the energy from becoming predictable. Predictability kills attraction, but unpredictability keeps the fire alive. There's also an art to how much you reveal and when. For example, if he asks you a question about your life, You don't have to pour out every detail. You can give a glimpse and then redirect with a playful twist. You'll just have to wait to find that out. Suddenly, he's curious. Suddenly, he's imagining. Suddenly, he's chasing a thread you left dangling. By not giving it all away, you make every interaction feel like an unfolding story rather than a checklist of facts. Teasing without telling also works beautifully in physical ways. It can be as subtle as the way you look at him, holding eye contact a second longer than usual, then glancing away with a smile. It can be the way you brush past him lightly, but don't linger. These gestures hint at intimacy without diving into it, leaving his imagination to do the rest. And imagination is where desire multiplies, because what he imagines is always more powerful than what's guaranteed. The important thing to remember is that teasing is effective because it creates contrast. If you were only mysterious all the time, he'd lose interest because he'd have no sense of where he stands. But when you mix warmth and playfulness with just the right amount of restraint, you strike the perfect balance. You're giving him enough to feel connected, but not enough to feel like the chase is over. That's when he stays engaged, because there's always another layer to uncover. At its core, teasing is an act of confidence. It says, I don't need to give everything away to hold your attention. I know my value, and I know you'll stick around to find out more. That energy is intoxicating. It makes every conversation feel alive, every moment charged with possibility. And what drives him wild isn't that you're easily available, but that you're playful enough to keep him guessing. He doesn't just want to be around you. He wants to win you one layer at a time. One of the most magnetic things you can ever do in a relationship dynamic is to have boundaries that reflect your value. Attraction doesn't come from being endlessly available, endlessly accommodating, or endlessly giving. It comes from being selective, from showing through your actions that your time, your energy, and your attention are precious resources that not everyone automatically gets to access. High-value boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about creating a standard that invites the right kind of effort and repels the wrong kind. And when a man sees that you're someone who doesn't give herself away carelessly, it doesn't frustrate him. It excites him because it makes you infinitely more valuable in his eyes. Think of it like this. Imagine you walk past a diamond store and the jewels are just sitting outside on the sidewalk for anyone to grab. They would lose their sense of worth immediately. But place them behind glass, only available to those who are serious enough to walk in and pay the price, and suddenly they carry meaning, prestige, and allure. The same principle applies in dating. When you have boundaries, you show that not just anyone can stroll into your life and take what they want. Access to you has to be earned. That scarcity doesn't diminish you, it elevates you. Men instinctively respect what they have to work for. If you're always saying yes, if you always bend to his schedule, if you always accept crumbs of attention, he will unconsciously value you less. Not because he's cruel, but because human nature tends to undervalue what comes too easily. But when you have the courage to say no, to walk away from behaviors that don't align with your worth, or to withhold certain levels of intimacy until trust and investment are present, you're not pushing him away. You're pulling him deeper in, because suddenly he realizes you're not like everyone else. He can't take shortcuts with you. He has to rise to the standard you set, and that challenge is what ignites desire. Boundaries also keep you from losing yourself in the process of attraction. Without them, it's easy to fall into patterns of giving and giving until you feel depleted, hoping the other person will see your worth through your sacrifices. But true worth isn't proven through self-abandonment, it's affirmed through self-respect. When you honor your own limits, when you protect your emotional and physical space, you're sending a message not just to him, but to yourself. I matter. My needs matter. My time matters. That self-respect radiates outward, and it makes you magnetic in a way no physical beauty ever could. The beauty of high-value boundaries is that they don't just create attraction, they also act as a filter. The wrong men, the ones who only want something easy, the ones who aren't serious, the ones who don't want to invest, will fall away quickly when they encounter a woman who expects more. And that's a gift, because you don't waste time trying to convince someone to give you what they never planned to. The right men, the ones who are genuinely interested and ready to rise, won't be scared off. In fact, they'll step up, they'll lean in closer, they'll try harder, they'll see you as someone rare, someone not to be taken lightly. What drives him wild is not unlimited access, but selective access. It's knowing that you could give everything, but you choose not to, not until he has shown you that he's worthy of it. That choice makes every moment with you feel earned. It makes your presence feel like a privilege, and it ensures that when he finally does get closer, he doesn't take it for granted. He treasures it because he knows it wasn't given to him freely. It was given because he proved himself worthy. That is the power of high-value boundaries, and it's what makes you unforgettable. Physical attraction may be what sparks interest, but emotional connection is what keeps desire alive long after the initial excitement fades. You can catch his eye with how you look, but you capture his heart with how you make him feel. The truth is, men don't remember every outfit you wore or every clever line you said, but they never forget the way you made them feel when they were with you. If you want to drive him wild without giving yourself away too soon, focus less on rushing into the physical and more on building that emotional thread that binds him to you. That's the kind of connection that lingers even when you're not around. There's something incredibly intoxicating about feeling understood, and that's where your power lies. When you really listen to him, not just nodding along, but paying attention, asking deeper questions, showing curiosity about his world. You give him an experience he doesn't often get. Most people only half listen, waiting for their turn to speak. But when you're fully present, when you make him feel like what he's saying matters, you tap into something far more powerful than physical attraction. You make him feel significant, and significance is a core human need. Once someone associates you with that feeling, they can't get enough of you. Emotional connection also comes from surprising him with authenticity. Instead of always trying to impress him or say what you think he wants to hear, you let him see glimpses of your real personality, your quirks, your humor, your perspective on life. That vulnerability makes the bond real. But notice, vulnerability isn't about oversharing or unloading everything at once. It's about choosing the moments where you let your walls down just enough for him to step closer. That careful reveal is what keeps the balance between mystery and intimacy alive. The most magnetic moments often come in the simplest ways. It could be laughing together about something silly that happened on your way to meet him, or sharing a childhood memory that reveals a softer side of you, or encouraging him about a dream he's secretly nervous to pursue. Those little exchanges weave a deeper bond because they show him that you see him beyond the surface. And when a man feels seen, when he feels accepted in ways he doesn't with other people, he becomes addicted to that connection. When you slow down the physical rush and prioritize the emotional bond, you also shift the dynamic of power. Most men are used to situations where attraction escalates quickly, and once the physical is on the table, the mystery disappears. But when you hold that back and focus on connection instead, you separate yourself from the rest. You show him that you're not in a hurry, that you value depth over instant gratification. That patience makes every step feel more meaningful. It tells him he's not just earning access to your body, he's earning access to your heart and mind, and that's a far rarer prize. What's beautiful is that emotional connection doesn't require effortful strategies, it just requires presence. It's the way you laugh together, the way you hold eye contact when he's sharing something vulnerable, the way you tease him but also encourage him when he needs it. These moments don't look dramatic, but they feel unforgettable. They create the sense that being with you is more than fun, it's meaningful. And meaning is what makes desire last. By focusing on emotional intimacy before physical, you create an experience that feels different from what he's used to. You become the person he can't stop thinking about, not because you gave everything away, but because you gave him something more valuable, a connection that touches his heart. That's what makes him wild for you, because physical desire might fade, but emotional connection only grows stronger the more he invests in it. There's a powerful truth about attraction that most people overlook sometimes. The strongest way to pull someone in is by stepping back. Desire doesn't grow when everything is constantly available. It grows in the spaces, in the pauses, in the moments where someone is left wanting more. Pulling back doesn't mean playing games or pretending to be busy when you're not. It means creating healthy space that allows him to miss you, to imagine you, to long for you when you're not right in front of him. That longing is what drives him wild, because it makes every encounter feel like something worth chasing. Think about a favorite song. If you played it on repeat every single day, eventually it would lose some of its magic. But when you hear it after not listening for a while, it hits you differently. It feels fresh, it stirs something inside you. The same is true in relationships. If you're always there, always answering immediately, always available for every plan, the energy starts to flatten. He never has the chance to feel your absence, and without absence, there's no hunger. Pulling back just enough gives him the opportunity to realize how much he enjoys your presence, how much he misses your energy, how much he wants more of you. This isn't about withholding affection or being cold. It's about maintaining your own life outside of him. Your passions, your friends, your goals, your routines. When he sees that you're not waiting by the phone, that you're not living for his attention, it sparks something powerful. It reminds him that you are your own person with your own world, and that being part of your life is a privilege he has to continually earn. That independence makes you magnetic because it sends a clear message: you're with him by choice, not by necessity. And people always value what they know they could lose. Pulling back also creates anticipation. Imagine you've had an amazing evening together, filled with laughter and sparks. Instead of stretching the night until the energy dies, you end it on a high note, leaving him thinking about you long after. That intentional ending creates an echo. It lingers in his mind, making him replay the moments and crave the next encounter. By not overstaying, by not giving everything in one sitting, you leave him hooked, wondering when he'll get to feel that again. That's how you build lasting desire, not by saturating every moment, but by leaving room for him to want the next. Another subtle but powerful way of pulling back is in communication. You don't have to text all day, every day. A little space between messages gives him the chance to think about you, to miss your presence, and to wonder what you're up to. When you do respond, the interaction feels more alive because it wasn't constant background noise. That rhythm of closeness and space mirrors the natural flow of attraction. It's in the push and pull, the closeness and the distance, that passion stays alive. When you pull back, it also allows him to step forward. Men need to feel like they're investing, like they're working for your time and affection. If you're always leading, always giving, always pushing the connection forward, he doesn't get the chance to contribute. But when you step back, he feels the space and fills it with his own effort. That investment deepens his attachment because we all value what we put energy into. By letting him come to you, you strengthen his desire to keep pursuing, to keep showing up, to keep proving himself. Ultimately, pulling back isn't about scarcity for the sake of it. It's about balance. Too much distance and he loses interest. Too much availability and he takes it for granted. The sweet spot is when you create enough space for him to feel your absence, but not so much that he doubts your interest. That balance keeps him on his toes, keeps him chasing, and keeps the spark alive. What drives him wild isn't that he can have you whenever he wants, but that he knows he has to keep showing up to keep you close. And that ongoing pursuit is what makes the connection exciting, magnetic, and unforgettable.